This is also a toast for Richard being back.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday Live Show. So great to be coming at you today. I got a great guest in Rides for Kickz coming on in about 15 minutes, and we got some new videos to show today. So we've kind of redone all the intros and outros today with some help from some of my subscribers, and I'm excited to kind of preview those with you today. I just wanted to take a minute to say hello to all the YouTube creators that are watching today on the live show. Your content is making the world a more joyous place to be in right now. So I appreciate all the content that you're putting together. All of us appreciate watching those great videos that you put together for all of us. Want to say thank you to the moderators. So thanks for all that you do every week. I say it every week, and I do appreciate it because it allows me to really focus on the chat, which is nice. So I wanted to kind of welcome the chat in a couple minutes. But first of all, our guest today, Rides for Kickz. He's going to be talking about First Light, the recovery in Thailand, that and a ton of other stuff too. So I got a lot of stuff to talk to Lucas about today, and I'm so excited to have him back on the show. We'll be talking to him about 13 minutes. So if you are watching the replay, all of my chats kind of take place at the 15-minute mark. Feel free to fast forward to that part. But we do have some great videos to play between now and then. So I'll be showcasing those to you in just a couple minutes. Want to just say hello, welcome everyone in the live chat. Let me go to the comments. I got a bunch of people in here today. I just want to say Rick G is saying Rides rules. Rides does rule. And let's see, Eat Out, Pattaya, Mitch and Jake, long time no see. A great new YouTube channel there that we're going to be spotlighting in the Vlogger newsletter. So news for you. This is a brand new channel, Eat Out Pattaya. All one word. Don't space it out, guys. All one word. Guess what? News for you. Breaking news. My mother was the 10th subscriber to Eat Out Pattaya. So if you want to get in early on a channel that's going places, go to that channel, check it out, subscribe, and come back to the live chat. We're going to be profiling them in the Vlogger news a little bit later. So glad you guys could make it today, Ryan and Tom. Appreciate that. And Mr. Mitch is in the house. We got Fa 1985. Great meetup at Wombat earlier. Fa was live actually at the Wombat Bar in Jomtien, Thailand. So we're going to showcase that a little bit later. Your Mojo in the chat saying hello. Scott Hummer, nice to see you in there as well. Baldy Brian in Thailand. I kind of chuckle because, man, just if you guys have a chance, if you haven't checked out last week's live show, you got to check out the Vlogger news segment where we had Baldy Brian in Thailand come in to run through the Vlogger news. Such a character, so much energy. I really enjoyed the chat. I enjoyed it so much that guess what? We're going to have Baldy Brian in Thailand back on the show as full guest in a couple weeks. So I'm quite excited about that. We have a big list of guests that are coming on the show. So let me just show you, before we bring on Rides for Kickz, I just wanted to kind of show a couple of the guests that we have coming on. So next week we have Phil from Le Pub Pattaya talking about going from homeless to successful business owner in Thailand. You're not going to want to miss that one. Phil's definitely come a long way, and he owns 2 bars in Thailand today and probably expanding that to even more in the future. So he's doing quite well. We're booked up until December 10th. We do have an open slot available. So please feel free, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, I consider everyone. Just looking for interesting channels to promote. So email me at richardtravel@gmail.com. Happy to have that conversation with you, see if it might be a good fit for the show. So excited to have some future guests coming on, which is great. Great guest last week in Flora and Note. I really enjoyed that conversation. It was great to have them back. Please, if you didn't get a chance, go back and check out that replay because there were some funny things we did on the on that live chat. And let's see, we got a lot of people in here. It's gonna be tough keeping up on all these comments. P-Paul in Thailand and Baldy Brian in Thailand says, excited to come back on the show. Chocolate Man in Thailand, are we live? And that's actually a good segue. It's nice having all these comments. Segues for me on the chat. So are we live yet? So great question there, Chocolate Man. But before we say, are we live yet? I wanted to say congratulations to Chocolate Man in Thailand for 6 million YouTube views. So he's had 6 million views on all of his videos. I think he has like 350 videos, probably more than that now. That's a lot of views, 6 million. So congratulations, Chocolate Man in Thailand, for 6 million views. And getting a little bit of an alert here. So, I think Lucas would like me to profile how many views he's had on his channel. Well, congratulations, Rides for Kickz, for 22 million views on your channel. Great job there, Lucas. And back to Chocolate Man. Chocolate Man, great job with your 6 million views. That's really wonderful. Nice to see that. Great job. So it's interesting. I was going through some of the previous shows, getting ready for this show, and every time I watch Alex and Miley's appearance, I can't stop laughing. So much good content in there. We had a great time. I really want to have him back on the show at some point in the future because I feel like everyone enjoyed his interview and they just cracked me up. So what I did is actually put together a little clip from the show. So if you haven't watched that show, he's rebranded from the Jiu-Jitsu Passport to just Alexandro. And here's just a quick little 30-second clip on how funny those two are.
Yeah.
He bring me every day.
No, I don't hear
It's not every day, but and you kiss me here, and then you just run. Yeah.
So I ran, and then I ran away.
I would have used it too. Hey, I'm immune to it. I can't get it. Awesome job. Well done, Alex. Well done. I wish I had like a sound effect of people clapping. Well done, Alex.
But you try too hard, like 5 months.
I didn't try too hard because you're here. What are you talking
about? So I had a great time with Alex and Miley. And again, he's rebranded his channel to just Alex Andro. So please check it out and check out that live show. We had a ton of fun on that. And just to really appreciate everyone kind of taking a look at that video. Let me go to the live chat, see who we got coming on here. Well, we got Life After Kids with Key Williams in the house. Really appreciate that. Nice to see you there, Keisha. And Chocolate Man in Thailand says he's always Jiu-Jitsu passport to me. Anders Bergman saying hello to Mr. Mitch. Appreciate that. Robert Mack in Asia. Nice to see him in here. Carl's Thailand coming in. Great to see you in here as well. Appreciate that. Nice. Got a lot of great people in here. And Jam Life in Thailand. So Jam Life in Thailand, I want to thank you for helping Gator Jake record a video that we'll spotlight in the Vlogger News intro a little bit later. So guys, stay tuned for that. We have a ton of great vloggers and new channels to spotlight in the Vlogger News. And newsflash, we may be like deleting the intermission session today. Yeah, usually we take a little 60-second intermission break after the guest comes on. Well, listen, we're going to go full speed ahead from Lucas to Vlogger News. So we'll try to keep everyone around. And just for those people that might be new to the channel, what we do is we profile a great guest like Lucas today from Rides for Kickz. But then we also go through what we call Vlogger News, where we talk about maybe some vloggers you're not familiar with and some that you are, and profile those channels and try to promote them. So the more people stick around for that, really appreciate that because it gets these new channels more views and exposure. So really appreciate that. We got some great ones that we're going to profile today. We've got Crew Muan in the chat there. Nice to see you. Douglas Williams, always nice to see you in there as well. Got Teo SA. That's great. Saying congrats to Chocolate Man in Thailand for the 6 million views. Got Going Grays in there. Gator Jake, the man of the hour. So it's so funny. You know, I woke up with a ping on my phone at 3:30 in the morning. Guess who it was? Gator Jake. hey, Richard, I got a new video. Put this in the Vlogger News. So, it's tough as a creator to kind of go back to sleep after you have that sitting in your inbox. So I got up and did some things to the Vlogger News intro, and we're going to be spotlighting that little video from Gator Jake outside the Wombat Bar in Jomtien. And so that'll be fun to watch. I do want to let you know that Mr. Mitch has a YouTube subscriber meetup it's the first Saturday of every month at the Wombat and Kiwi Bar in Jomtien, Thailand. So if you are making your way out to Thailand, if you're going to be in the Chonburi area, check out that subscriber meetup the first Saturday of every month. And I think he really has a great following there. Like I said earlier, Fa 1985 was actually going live from the Wombat Bar. So it's kind of cool. You could kind of see some other subscribers, chopping it up with some other YouTube creators, that kind of stuff. And it was really fun to watch. So check that out. And if you're in Thailand, I would say go check out Mr. Mitch and all the YouTube creators that will be there. Perfect. Let me go back here to live chat. Oh, we got a lot of people coming in here. My comments are coming in a boatload at a time. Got Ron John saying hello to Mojo. Got Ken Heller in there saying hello to Keisha, Life After Kids. And Baldy Brian in there. Paul of Thailand. Nice to see you there. Saying hello to Carl's Thailand. Got Max Smith in here as well. Jim Miller. Nice to see you as well. Great. So I'm going to be relying on, we got Greenie Travels in here as well. Nice to see Greenie poking in. I saw Greenie Travels on the Fa Live 1985 live stream from the Wombat Bar. So that was nice. And Chocolate Man in Thailand was saying it was a great turnout tonight at the bar. So that's always nice. That's always nice to see. It would look like a pretty fun little meetup. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, good. Let me go back to my comments. Remove that. Oh, we got Eat Out Pattaya saying hello to Greenie. And Greenie Travel saying thank you. Great. And well, we got some unusual comments in there. So hopefully the moderators will take care of those. Thank you, moderators. They're quick. These guys are quick. Greenie Travel saying hello to Key. And so what we're doing with the show now is I'm trying to standardize some of the intros and outros. And just to let you know, because YouTube's kind of cracking down on using other people's content. So I used to always pride myself on using like content from the creator's YouTube channel to create a custom intro. I really love doing that. And sometimes I would even get sent the files from the YouTube creator. So it made it super simple. I know Carl's Thailand and I really collaborated on an intro for him. But YouTube's cracking down on that kind of stuff. Even if you get the permission, they don't like to see it. So we're kind of standardizing the intros. This week is the first one we kind of standardized for Lucas from Rides for Kickz. And I'm going to play that in just a couple of seconds. But I just wanted to say I'm so excited to welcome Lucas back to the show. He's been on a bunch of times. He's been a huge supporter of the channel. And I couldn't have gotten to where I am today at 10,100 subscribers, who's counting, without his help and promotion. So I appreciate that. We're going to bring on Lucas. I'm going to play the Vlogger News, or the intro for Rides for Kickz. And we'll have him on in just a couple seconds. Lucas, welcome to the Saturday Live Show.
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Having a great morning. I'm caffeinated, fully ready to go. How about you? How's your night going?
Man. Yeah, I'm caffeinated and all that stuff you just said. Yeah.
Caffeinated and something extra, maybe, because it's nighttime, right? A little adult beverage.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So I'm so excited to have you back because I feel like there's so much has happened since we last talked, probably like a year ago. You're traveling all over the place, making some great videos. Congrats on the 22 million. I pulled that up this morning. I'm like, wow, Lucas, that's a lot of views.
Oh, I didn't even know. Last time I looked, it was 21 something. So thanks.
Yeah. And almost like 65,000 subscribers, right? You're really trucking along there.
It inches up every now and again. Yeah.
Lucas is so humble. So I got to pull it out of you, man. You don't like to talk about yourself.
Oh, and is Mother still watching? Hi to
She's
Mother
watching.
if she is. Okay, good.
Yeah.
We got to have Mother on board.
Appreciate that. Hey, so I got a lot of great stuff to talk to you about, but I know one thing I wanted to ask you about before we get started with all the fun stuff is, how is V doing? Because I know V's been a little unwell.
She's I'm looking at her now. She's on the other side of my cabana here. She's doing okay today. She kind of takes one step forward, two steps back, though. It's been going on. It's been dragging on for like a month. She's going to the doctors again Monday, so not back to normal, but she's getting by.
Yeah, well,
So.
please, everyone send the positive comments in the live chat for V. You know, I'm sure she'd love to see that watching it back later because she's in our thoughts and prayers. So please, V, hope you feel better. We're all pulling for you.
I'll see if I can goad her over here to say hi.
Yeah.
Because the way I'll do that, my glass is empty. So that's kind of like an alarm bell for her to. My name.
Hello, V. What a cop. That's great.
That was
So
a little
nice.
underhanded.
Well, yeah. Well, she's looking great. Thank you for that, Lucas. So great. So, Lucas, you're just kind of you just had your video recently with the cruise ship to Pattaya, or from Pattaya to Koh Samui, right?
Right. It's at the hip, actually, about 25 minutes south of Pattaya. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an interesting video. I think it's kind of out of your usual list of videos you would do, right? Koh Samui is not really a place that you've spotlighted in the past, but I loved it. I thought it was great.
I did too.
Yeah. What you like so much about Koh Samui?
I was there 5 months ago, back in May. And we had been to some beautiful places before that. We'd been to Phuket, Krabi, Koh Lanta. And we get to Koh Samui and everything was kind of like closed and depressed. And I just felt like, it's okay. But this time, a lot more stuff was open. It was more vibrant. We had beautiful weather, at least for two out of the 3 days. And man, I kind of fell in love with it, to be honest, Richard. I love the place. One of my favorite places now. Yeah,
and it's interesting. That's a great segue into a question I had for you. And just before we get to that, Ron John saying blessings to you, V. Hope you get well soon. That's great. Big Daddy L saying, hey, V. Yeah, sorry to hear about that. I feel better soon, V. That's great. So I'm sure she's going to love seeing the love there on the playback. So that's great. But it's interesting. So you're so known as like the ambassador of Pattaya, you know. And I love it, first of all, because you say it the right way. So you don't say it like the lazy English way, like Pattaya or Pattaya. So you say it the great way. But what people don't realize, Lucas, I think, is that you actually, when you initially came out, you spent some time in Bangshan for a couple years, right?
2 years in Byzane, yeah. I don't like the crowded, congested Pattaya. That's not so much fun. But during the pandemic, it wasn't that. It was the opposite of that. And now it's still not where it used to be. Although it's getting there, and especially right now, there's people coming in left, right, and center. In fact, I talked to people yesterday and today. An hour and a half wait queue at immigration to get in at the BKK. So yeah, it's as soon as the calendar turned over November, people started flooding in, and that's what we've kind of been expecting, November and December, for them to be big months. So it looks like that's happening.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the last time I had to stand in an immigration line that long, it was 90 minutes. I think it was back in 2016, and that sucked. Because I actually had access to the streamline immigration line.
All right.
But I didn't know where that was. Fast forward like a year later, I found out just go a little bit further, and then you have like a VIP line that you can go through pretty quick. But that's a long wait.
Yeah, there's some kind of concierge service that can rush you through if you pay extra. You got to pay extra for that. There's different ways to avoid it. I think the elite visa people get expedited. There's all different sorts of things, but just, the rank and file guy arriving for his 2-week holiday, waiting in the line, that's what confronted him yesterday and today. So,
yeah. And the pictures I've seen, it looks like it's kind of out of hand. Like it looked like it was backed up before we even make the turn into kind of up that little hill to go into immigration. So yeah, that's not good to see, but hey, it's worth it for 2 weeks in Thailand, right? So 90 minutes, not a big deal.
Of course, it's just so frustrating after you've flown halfway around the world to have to wait. You're so close. The golden gates are right there, but you gotta wait through that line first.
Yeah, I feel like the weird thing that I always think about is if you're waiting in immigration that long, if I've checked my bag and I got to pick it up, then it's sitting there like for 90 minutes. I'm worried about someone taking it. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's probably why you should just do carry on.
That could happen. Yeah.
So it's interesting. So you spent 2 years in Bangshan. How do I say that? Bangshan?
Bang
Sen?
Sen. Bang Sen.
All right, Bangsen. Man, all these Thai words. But you don't live there today. You live in Pattaya, just up the hill, right in Pradenak.
Right.
Here? Yeah. Now, would you ever consider living in some place like Koh Samui?
Yeah, I'd consider several places I'd consider that are kind of in the back of my mind. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I love where we are. I love our house and the neighborhood we live in. And right now it's pretty quiet. A lot of the historic residents of Pratamnak Hill are not there right now for the various things going on in Eastern Europe and so forth. So it's Pratamnak maybe is disproportionately quiet compared to Central Pattaya, but even Jomtien though too. Even Jomtien, I think it's picking up a little bit, but it hasn't been as crowded and as busy as Pattaya, the center part, Pattaya Klang. So we'll see what happens. We had a lot of visitors from India come in. They're kind of partial to South Pattaya, the whole Pattaya Thai area. So it just depends where you are and when you are, and that'll dictate your experience.
Now you said the city name a couple times. Now I got an expert that knows how to say the city that you just said. Let's check out the way that you said it compared to the way she says it.
Pattaya.
I think you're pretty close, Lucas. I think you get a check mark.
I try to say it right, the Thai correct pronunciation, but that's just not how I've been accustomed to saying it. But I try to say the correct Thai pronunciation.
So I am trying to get like comments from the live chat. They're actually coming in on. I have an option to do like video live chats now. So I have someone that came in. I guess his name is Antoine. He wanted to I think he had a question or comment for you.
Can you take this asshole back to America, please?
That was not good.
You stole that from Rob.
How I borrowed it. I think Anton's like 25 years old now, by the way.
Yeah, probably.
So it's so funny. So I think I love that Koh Samui video, and I'm thinking like, I don't know why you don't do more videos like that getting outside of Pad Thai, but then I think about how much I love the Pattaya videos that you do. Do you sometimes, are you conflicted? Like, where should I go next?
Well, it's Pattaya? The travel, there's a lot of things that come with travel. It's harder to produce videos on the road. It's expensive. Right now in V's condition, I'm just hoping she pulls it all together by our India trip. I'm hopeful for that. That's next week. So we have that big thing coming up. And this year, if I went through all of the travel we did this year, the first 25 days of the year, we're totally on the road. We've been a lot of places, done a lot of things, a lot of overnights. So I know it doesn't seem like that, but once you add it all up, it's probably, I don't know, at least maybe 10% of the time or something like that. So, and then we have more coming up. By the time you add in this next trip for 2 weeks and stuff like that. So, yeah, we need our home time too. We enjoy being at home, and when I'm at home, there's always something to do in Pattaya. That's what I always tell people. There's always something to do, and I actually end up almost turning down more things than I end up doing. But that's a good problem to have. That means business is coming back. That means tourists are coming back. Means money's back in the system, which means the locals have work and food to eat and everything else. So it's all good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think one of the great things that I love that you do is, like I said earlier, I consider you to be the ambassador of Pattaya. And the reason I say that is because I think you do a great job of promoting, not just, you don't really promote the nightlife. We all know it's there. It's like Las Vegas. We all know where you can go in Vegas and party, have a great time. But you do an excellent job of showcasing what you can do during the daytime in Pattaya. And I think that's really great and super helpful for a lot of people that want to, possibly move to Pattaya or Jomtien. Is that a passion of yours, Lucas? Do you really take pleasure in showing people that there's more to do than just the nightlife?
Yeah, well, I've always said, if a guy comes to Pattaya, checks into his hotel, steps out of his hotel and say, gee, I can't find a bar. I wish I had some YouTube videos showing me where the bars are. Give me a call. I'll come over, hit you in the head with a tack hammer, and push your tukas in the right direction of the closest bar. Because look, anybody can find one. They're everywhere. It doesn't matter. This one closed and this one open. It doesn't matter. The names are just made up, catchy little cliche.
Yeah.
Just go to one. It doesn't matter. But there is more. And I like I kind of like the Thai-owned businesses. A lot of the bars are foreigner-owned, to be honest. I prefer the Thai-owned businesses because they're the ones that live here. Then I think they put more at stake, and I think they're kind of the backbone. All the foreign-owned bars, they're here, they come and go. But a lot of the Thai businesses, they're kind of, like I said, more of the backbone of the town. So I like to find those and seek those out. And if it's something that I think I would enjoy, then I hope other people would enjoy it. So I'll show it.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Pretty simple.
I think it's pretty simple, but I think it's great. I think a lot of people need to be doing that. So I think there's Chocolate Man in Thailand does a great job of that. I think you've been doing that for a long time. I mean, is that what you wanted the channel to be initially, Lucas, when you started it out? Was like, I'm going to focus mostly on Pattaya, or was your vision to do something different?
No, my vision was to do something different. Just kind of, you have to listen to your audience. And I got like this 3-way divided audience. A third of them want to see travel, a third of them want to see motorcycle stuff, and a third of them want to see Pattaya. So I try to give each their own, in certain proportion, which probably is bad because they always say, oh, you should do a niche thing. But I just want to do what I want to do. So, and I like all three of those things. I like to travel. I like Pattaya. I like doing motorcycle stuff, whatever. So I just said at the end of the day, I think I'll be happier and have a better longevity if I just do what I want to do and not worry about the numbers so much,
Yeah, I think that's a great way to do YouTube. There's no shortage of people with advice on YouTube. Yeah, Lucas, right. You should change your name to this. And we talked about this probably like 2 years ago, you and I, when I was thinking about changing my name. You're like, listen, I think like the name is not so important. It's the content is what's going to get them, Yeah. So I totally get what you're saying. Like, do what you want to do. I feel like if you kind of get too engrossed in the numbers, it starts to change your perception of things and the creativity goes away. And that's the most important thing, right?
That's right. That's right. Plus I don't know, some of the best things just happen spur of the moment. So if you're out there anyway, you never know what'll happen. Sometimes I go somewhere, it's not the video I planned to make that day, something else happens.
Yeah.
I say, oh wow, look at this. So or I'll meet somebody. It's just I think if you're out there and something interests you, then the way I look at it, if it interests me, I'm like, well, there's got to be other people that would be interested in this. So I'll go with it,
Yeah, it's interesting what you said there. Like sometimes it'll just pop up like spur of the moment. This is a great place, or this is a great place to film, or this is a great scene I want to get in. And it's something you and I talked about is the equipment that you use. And I got to tell you, so I was guilty of this when I first started. I was getting all different kinds of cameras, gimbals, like everything that I thought you needed as a YouTube creator. But a lot of the successful YouTube creators I talked to, like yourself, really like to keep it simple. And so you want to kind of talk a little bit about the equipment, like your day-to-day. What do you use day-to-day in case that moment pops up where you got to film right away?
Yeah, I mean, I know guys like I saw Carl was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here. He does the whole thing on his phone. That's always impressed me. I don't know if I could do that. But yeah, a phone and a GoPro, you need something that takes a good microphone so you have good audio. The iPhone has incredible footage. I mean, an iPhone costs more than most of these fancy cameras you see with people walking around on big black gimbal sticks, especially here. iPhone is a very good tool, and plus it's a phone.
Yeah,
and some kind of wireless microphone system. I use a desktop PC that I brought with me that I might even upgrade or replace this year. But a good PC with a good video card, that's important. A lot of people waste a lot of time rendering videos, and it takes forever to edit them because they don't have enough horsepower in their system. Notebooks are. I'm talking to you on a notebook right now. When I'm on the road with this notebook, and this is a juiced up notebook that I could find, and it's lousy, I'm like, oh, I just want to go back home to my desktop. This would have been done an hour ago.
Yeah.
So just a good a good video card, a good processor, lots of memory, and a PC, and whatever video editing software you need. And that's all you need, man. You don't need all this. You don't need all this stuff. I mean,
Yeah, and I feel
if you're comfortable using that level of equipment, I'm just not. I'm not comfortable using setting the exposure and the white balance on every shot, and all the settings you have to do with a lot of these DSLRs and things. I know people use them and they're good at them. I'm not that good at them. Filming is one of the 5 skills you need to be a YouTuber, and I'm probably a 3 out of a 5. But if you're a 5 out of 5, if you're really good with cameras and stuff, then leverage that, I would say, but that ain't me.
Yeah, I feel like one of your strengths, I don't know if you'll agree with this, is like the fact you're really good in post and you're really great with thumbnails. I don't know if people realize or appreciate this. Like, you're really big on color grading and making the thumbnail look just right. We talked about this, where you'll do a couple different versions of a thumbnail, put them up on the screen side by side, and then pick out the best one. Are you still doing that today?
Oh yeah. Generally between 10 and 20 thumbnails per video. Wow. And then you have one, if one doesn't work, if you're wrong about one, which happens, if you're wrong about one, you have the next in line to pick, and you can go back in and change it, and they let you change it, after maybe 12, 24 hours, you can go in and change it. And sometimes that helps because it's very important, extremely important. So it's what it is, Richard? It's your packaging. I went to school for IT stuff over 20 years ago. I still remember the guy saying the first day, Microsoft is a mediocre product with great marketing. So, I mean, their packaging, the way they market it. And that's why almost every computer in the world runs on Microsoft, or at least a high percentage of them, right? Apple and Linux and all the other, they have a small share compared to Microsoft. But it's not necessarily the best product. It's how you package it. Your packaging is important, and that's your thumbnail and that's your title. So you got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I thought it was great because, so we collaborated this week on the thumbnail, probably not by choice, Luke, because I just started sending you files. You're like, okay, let me take a look at this. But the original photo was not really like, bam, didn't really splash out at you. You took it in and color graded it for me and really made it just explode off the page. So thank you for that. But I just feel like you have a great eye when it comes to that kind of stuff. You can, kind of pick it apart and say like, change that, change this. But I will tell you, for anyone that works with Lucas, he's very nice. He'll kind of give little recommendations like, did you think about me putting it here or there? And I'm thinking Lucas is really saying, put it there, put it here. It's like, but he's trying to be nice about it, but you're very nice. And I think the end result was a great thumbnail.
Yeah. But it's everybody does theirs their own way. Everybody has their own style. I have my style. It just is what it is. I'm not saying mine's the best. It's what my eye sees as the best I can do. So and there is reason, different things you want to highlight. I always say you want to create a little bit of a question. So between your title and your thumbnail, and looking at both of those, and your brain will process that in a microsecond as it looks at all the other thumbnails on the page and say, oh yeah, I got what's he mean by that? And that might prompt a click and say, yeah, I want to learn about this, or I want to see what this is talking about. And I think that's a little bit of the magic in it. Some thumbnails would not work without the right title, and vice versa. The title wouldn't work without the right thumbnail. But you get the right ones of both, and it creates that question, it creates that visual impact, and it creates a click. So
yeah, and I think so. I kind of said this before, and actually Jay East had a question around graphics cards that we'll talk about in a second. But I feel like that's one thing that you really do a great job of with those thumbnails. It's really important. But I'll tell you one thing that I've said this over and over again about you. Like, I don't care what the title is, I'll watch it, Lucas. Like, I get the alert, hey, new video, I'll watch it. Don't care what the title is. And I feel like that's a great level for you to be at as a YouTube creator. Like, really, the title doesn't matter to most of us. We know each video is going to be quality content. So I think that's probably a feather in your cap, is like, you're producing great videos. So I know that Gator Jake said you're a 7 out of 5 with the voiceover with your video filming. So I think the same thing. I mean, you do the great video. Now you've kind of changed that a little bit though, Lucas. You're not really doing as many voiceovers. You're really doing narrations most of the time as you're doing it. Is that a conscious decision?
Yeah, it just depends on what, and sometimes I try to minimize it, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes I have to do it that way, and I don't want to have it too much of that. Too much of anything gets boring, so I try to mix it up between little montages, voice to camera, narration, whatever, and you try to mix it up to keep people's attention. But sometimes I have a video where I don't have a choice, and there might be loud music there, and all I can do is shoot some footage, and I can't really do a voice to camera because there's so much noise or loud music. It's just not the right theater to do that. So that might be better suited to a narrative type video for that segment. So you're forced to do it in those occasions. So in occasions when you're not forced to do it, then choose the other method, choose a voice to camera, and it mixes it up a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking it might save you some time by doing it at the moment of filming, because then you can raise the levels in post, but you're pretty much got all the content there. That's kind of what I was thinking.
There's benefits to both. There's benefits to both.
Yeah, I think you have more control over the audio quality if you're doing it in post, right?
Yeah. And you also might know a little bit more about what you're talking about after the fact, because a lot of people go in and start talking right away. That's why I always try to see what's going on first, do whatever it is, then I'll talk about it. So you learn what it is and you get the information straight. But if not, you've got all the viewers and they'll straighten it out because they know all the stuff anyway. So there's always somebody that'll say, oh, you got that one wrong. It's this way, which is good because sometimes you do get things wrong. But in post, by that time, you're going to know everything you know about what everything you're ever going to know about what it is you're presenting. So maybe you be a little bit more factual, you know.
And I want to talk to you a little about your process, because I know when we talked about the pre-interview, we talked about storyboarding and basically outlining what you're going to be doing. But before I get too far along, I do want to get to J.E.'s question around good graphics cards out there for creating video. Do you look for something specific, or are you just buying a desktop that has all of that in there and ready to roll?
No, I just I want a GTX 1080 period.
Okay.
So there's better than that. There's better stuff than that. But I mean, for most of and also I like to play games, computer games, and you need it for that as well. You can run the game at a higher frame rate and so forth. 1080 GTX, that's good enough. Put it this way, it's good enough that what I can afford.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, it does. It's good enough. It's like 8 gigabytes of VRAM, I think.
Yeah. Which I feel is
1080
enough for most, you know. You don't need to go crazy with 32 or something like that, you know. Yeah.
And like there's killer monster systems out there. You don't need. Sorry, I got a mosquito. You don't need the best, but you need something better than what most systems come with, and especially laptops. They're just weak sauce. Even a laptop that says it has 8 gigabytes of video RAM, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not like a desktop with a 1080 GTX in it that just runs everything beautifully.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I feel like, you know, if you're doing YouTube videos, you get to be pretty technical pretty quick just by like osmosis. All the different programs you use, you get to know the terminology and the technical specifications. So I feel like even though you might be talking and it might be going over a lot of people's heads, I think anyone that records videos knows like what you're talking about. And I think one of the things that you counseled me on, Lucas, probably about 1.5 years ago, is like, listen, so once you're done with the project, delete it. Get the footage out of your, editing software, get it out, keep it clean. And it's so interesting because I feel like anybody can go on and, record a video, edit a video. But if you're doing like 10 in a row, you have a lot of content in the studio and it tends to slow things down. And that was happening to me. It was like epiphany, like I just need to get rid of all this stuff. So I cleared it out, runs a lot more efficiently. But I feel like for someone like you, Lucas, do you have like this system down, like after the project, delete, move the trash, emptied out, this whole stuff that go on?
Well, I use smaller solid state drives, and I use different ones for everything. So I use one for the operating system. I use one to run the editing software. I use one to hold all the files in the project, and I'll render it to another drive. So sharing all the different responsibilities, liabilities amongst different drives makes it work better for me. And that's why I just have to, like the drive I have, it's my B drive that hosts all of the files. And I have a folder on there called project, and I'll keep 1 to 2 videos behind what I'm working on. And then anything older than that gets deleted, you know. So basically, anytime I put a new folder in that project folder for whatever video I'm doing that day, something else gets deleted. You know, it's kind of like a leapfrog thing. Yeah. Okay. So I never have more than about 3 files of 3 projects on that drive. It's only like a 400 gigabyte drive or something to begin with, but that's all that drive does is hold those files, and the other drive will hold the finished product, and I have that backed up on yet another drive.
Yeah, that's a great process. So I actually have 2 of those external hard drives. I have an HDD, which is like 4 terabytes, and then I have an SSD, which is 1. And most of my archive footage goes on the HDD. So for those of you that don't know, like the HDD is more like old school bulletproof. This thing has all this padding around it. And then the SSD is a lot faster. So I'll use that for storing, but also I can run that live as I'm editing the video in, you know, my editing software. So that works for me. I try not to keep anything on the actual laptop. Like, it's clean. I delete everything, any kind of temp files, that kind of stuff, just because it seems to run a little bit quicker. But Freelance Kate was asking if you have a Mac or a PC. You mentioned you have a PC, right? A desktop PC.
And believe me, I was a big Mac user, but it came to a point, the PC just seemed to run everything a little bit faster for me. I was a big Mac user for years and years, but now I use PC. And games as well. A lot of the games started running really derpy on Mac, if they would run them at all. So yeah, PC for me.
Interesting. Wow. So that's some great information there. I love to like talk technical stuff around like what you're using, because a lot of YouTube creators I talk to are not using separate hard drives. They're loading to the cloud, and they're keeping it all in the cloud. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it cuts down on all you got to travel, but some people like to have it in their hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 schools of thought. But listen, Lucas, I wanted to kind of transition into something that I actually put this as one of my top 5 favorite videos of yours. And for those that might not be familiar, you had a motorcycle accident back in the day where almost lost your life on that one, Lucas. You came back years later to the same scene where it happened, and you made a video about that. And a little challenge to the mods, if you can put the link in the chat for that video. I don't know, Lucas, do you remember what the name of that video was where you kind of came back and talked about that? Because that's one of my favorite videos, man. That was
but
really
it probably
good.
would have been September of 2020, maybe.
Yeah.
Because we try to go every September, because September is when the accident happened. My very first visit in Thailand, I landed August 25th, and I left like sometime in October 10th or 12th or something. I was here like 6 weeks or more. And the accident happened after I was here a couple of weeks. So around that same time. But yeah, it was very profound. And, you know, I still say to this day, I'll say that's the whole reason I'm here today, is because of that. You know, that changed me to the point where it kind of woke me up. And after that, I knew, like, this is where I belonged. So this is where I would end up. And through most of my life, I forgot about that. I said, because things changed. I had a Thai wife. We got divorced, everything. And look where I still ended up. You know, there's many different roads you can take to your final destination. And the scenery along all those roads is different, but the final destination remains the same.
Yeah. Were you always sort of thinking about Thailand as your final residency, but you're kind of kept pushing it off? So the accident kind of rewired your brain to said it needs to happen now or in the near future?
No, it's just I knew, I don't know what it was. Just I was only 24 years old. I had my 24th birthday here, and I just knew that, like, this is where I'll end up. Just after that, I started having these thoughts, but then I had no intention of moving here, especially after I got divorced from the Thai wife. I wanted to move to the Philippines or somewhere else. I was looking even in Central America. I was looking all over the place, but Philippines was pretty much it. I just could never make peace with it, Richard. It was this weight on my shoulders. And then I started looking at Thailand. And then the more I looked, the more, you know, because it had changed so much. I hadn't been here in 20 years. Highways, malls, new airport, big airport in Bangkok, you name it, all this new stuff. I'm like, none of that was here. I'm like, wow, they really got their act together. They got good internet. I said, yeah, maybe I'll try that. And then boom, the weight was gone. It was like, that was the right decision.
Wow. So you
yeah.
made a video about that where you kind of came back to the scene and you kind of had some interesting things happen to you. So for those that don't know, you want to kind of talk about the person that sort of oversees that roadway?
Yeah. So, V is very into all the rituals and things like she knows her stuff. And I told her what happened, explained to her, she knew what to do, she knew what to buy, she had all the stuff, and she knew what we had to do. We had to do it after dark, and this whole thing. And I said, fine, I'll just leave that up to you. And we're out there doing it. I said, this is where the accident happened. And this lady comes by and says, what are you doing? What are you doing out here? And V explained it to her, and she goes, yeah, but you need to be at this temple around the corner. And we're like, temple around the corner? What corner? What temple? And it's not really a temple. It's a little shrine. It's a shrine for a female Buddha. And it's just in this little pavilion type thing. And we went over there. I'm like, oh my God, the face on that female Buddha looks like the face I saw that day. And I never even knew that place was there. It's kind of back in the weeds a little bit. And V saw, and then V had brought this I call it a traditional Thai blouse, like a dress. She had brought that. That's part of the offering or whatever. And this room was full of them. There was like 200 of them in there. And it's like, yeah, this is the right place. So she watches this female Buddha watches and protects the people on the roads. That's what it is. And literally this happened, I don't know, 200 meters from there around the corner. So, and I was lucky.
Yeah. I mean, do you really feel like you were lucky? Was that a high enough speed that you were going to where it would have caused maybe to lose your life?
I was going slow, Richard, but I didn't have a helmet on. I was knocked unconscious, but I didn't have a scratch or scrape or anything on my head afterwards, but I was knocked unconscious. I had my knees were torn up, my ankles. I wasn't probably going, but 20 miles an hour, something like that, but a total flip over the handlebars because the hole was about 8 inches deep that I went in with the front brake on, and I had a passenger on the back, and we just both went over the handlebars, and I kind of cushioned the passenger. I was like a pillow. I was like an airbag. I was like the front airbag deploying for the for the back passenger, but there was no front airbag for me. It was the road.
Got David from Wales saying hello to Rides for Kickz, and Mr. Mitch was nice enough to put the link in for that video, which was
David.
called, I think it was 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago in Thailand. Yeah, an angel saved me. That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yep, that's it. Wow, look at Mr. Mitch. Look at
he's
Mr.
so
Mitch
quick.
with the links. He's
So
like
quick.
Lord of the Links, Mr. Mitch is, I tell you.
Moderator to the stars, man. So fortunate to have him. So great. No, it's interesting. So I wanted to kind of pivot over to something that the video was actually titled at, what we're going to talk about today is around the recovery in Thailand. And I guess the question I have for you, Lucas, is do you feel like this is the true recovery this time? You kind of mentioned earlier about the Bangkok line, 90 minutes to get into Thailand. But do you think this is the real recovery? Is this really what Thailand's been looking for?
Yeah, look, we're at a point now. You don't need anything to come in. We're back to 2019. You don't even need a vaccination. You need nothing to come in. Now, flight prices are high. That is dampering it somewhat. But all the pent up demand, there's a lot of pent up demand. I hear from every day, not a day goes by here in town, Richard, I don't hear from somebody. I haven't been able to come for 2 years and I'm finally back. It's my first day. I met a guy last night on Walking Street, came running out of a bar, chasing after me from an Aussie. And he says, my first day, I'm back. I think he had already had a couple, but I said, good, enjoy. There's this pent up demand. And I think we're going to get that in November, where we are right now, with the hour-and-a-half wait, and December. Will it be a full recovery? I think it takes years to fully recover because so much damage was done. Some things are irreparable. I mean, there's some things that will never come back, unfortunately. Yeah, for example, the Hua Hin ferry is one of those. It's a perfect example. Before COVID, you could get it in Pattaya at Bali High Pier. I think 1,200 baht, 1,400 baht, and you'd be in Hua Hin an hour and a half later on a high-speed ferry. That's gone, and that may never come back unless somebody creates a new one, So to answer your question about a full recovery, I wouldn't frame it like that. I would just say in the next 2 months, there will be enough people in town, the likes of which we haven't seen in years, and 2 to 3 years. Even right before COVID, maybe travel was cyclical and it was a down year. 2018, 2019 weren't great travel years. 2016, 2017 were. It's a little bit cyclical. Not everybody takes a vacation to Thailand every year or a big vacation every year. It's a little bit cyclical. But I think this high season, you're going to get a big boom. And I think we might get another big boom around Songkran. I've been hearing for months, back to June, May and June. Book my ticket for November. Get the message, email message. Book my ticket for November, for December. I've been getting those messages. Now, you know what I'm getting now? Book my ticket for April.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Coming in April. See you in April. So I think we'll get a big boon. November, December, January, everybody will go home. February will probably be Deadsville. April, I think we'll have another big one, and then we'll see what happens from there. That's my guess.
So Jay East was saying that he can totally relate to you, Lucas. He had a profound experience at a temple. His first time in Thailand immediately convinced him that Thailand is where he needed to be. So
wow.
And every trip has affirmed that. It is interesting. I think a lot of us have that experience, Lucas, when we come to Thailand for the first time, of just feel like we're coming home. And I made a video about this. Like, I feel like Thailand feels more like my home than my home. So
that's how I've always felt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not for everybody. I mean, some people come here just to live because it's cheap and warm. And there's other people that are more connected, but it doesn't matter. It just is what it is. But for those people like that, it is, and there might be a special place for everybody. I've always said we're not necessarily born in the place we're supposed to be,
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's weird, but it's a magical place. And I think for the most part, the people that come here and really enjoy life, that's where they're supposed to be. Yeah.
So one of the things I want to talk to you about, your merchandise and your shirts. You wear a lot of these shirts that are promoting cannabis. I can say that word on YouTube, right? Weed.
I don't know.
We'll find out after the show. Thanks, Lucas, for your time. I actually got my video was deleted. Thanks. But so tell us about those shirts, because you're wearing those. Is that like merchandise that you're selling online, somewhere people can go to buy that stuff?
No. I have I designed a shirt before in August, and on my birthday I had a party and I printed up about 50 of them and sold some there, and I gave the rest to a guy in Pattaya at the night bazaar, and he sold the rest of them. In fact, I just went and ordered more. But anyway, that was designed to be more of a Pattaya souvenir shirt. Okay, so it actually, the back is fashioned like in the art style of like a tattoo, and it kind of tells a story. But the other shirts that I wear, the ones that you probably see with the leaves on it, that's kind of like a thing. About 2 years ago, we decided, hey, I saw one in a store. I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy that. That's cool, man. It's got pot leaves on it. And my buddy Nick and I said, yeah, we'll both wear them. We'll start like this trend. Well, guess what, Richard? Fast forward 2 years, you can't swing a dead cat in Pattaya without hitting a cannabis shop. And you even see women walking with handbags with ganja leaves on them.
Really?
Cannabis leaf. It's everywhere. Everybody everywhere is wearing it now. And I said, that's cool, man. But, I was wearing it 2 years ago.
You were the trendsetter. Let's get it right. Get the facts straight. Yeah. I mean, did you ever think you would see that in Thailand? I guess I kind of thought it was a matter of time myself. I didn't think it would happen this quickly. And I wonder if you did. Why is that?
100%. It's so cultural, Richard. It's so cultural. You go up in the countryside, everybody's growing. This is going on for a while. Everybody's growing for years. I'm going back 20, 25 years now. Some of the best product in the world came from right here. If you had product from Thailand, you had something, Now everybody looks at it. Everybody coming here now says, oh, that's Thai product. That's no good. I want the stuff from Amsterdam or California. That's genetically modified, laboratory tested and grown in the high spec. Okay, I get that. Yeah, it probably is better. But it's also a lot more expensive. And to say that, well, this is no good. Well, that's been good for years. That didn't stop being good just because somebody made something better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a little bit of a quandary there. But I didn't think we would see the I don't know, the fast propagation like we've seen every day. I would say for the last 3 months, every day in Pattaya, a new cannabis shop has opened.
Wow.
Now,
Every
maybe this day one didn't open, but yesterday 2 opened. Okay. So I would bet there's 90 cannabis shops in Pattaya right now. So in the last 3 months, that's one a day. That's the proliferation. That's what you're looking at. And I never guessed that. There's a whole nother story behind that I kind of told you offline.
Yeah, we talked about it.
That will probably come to fruition.
Record.
So it is what it is, but that's what you're looking at right now. So if you come, that's what you're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I love to see the relaxing of the rules and stuff like that. I think there's too many rules and laws, for us to all have to adhere to. But I don't know if I've seen an actual law in the Thai Gazette about the loosening of the regulations around cannabis. I don't know if I've actually read that anywhere, but maybe I'm blind. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that officially.
Still legislation pending, but you have it in California there. You're in Frisco, right?
I'm outside of San Francisco now. I've moved out, but I'm still in California. But yeah, it's pretty much legal everywhere, So yeah, is what it is.
You got local cannabis shops, and you can just go and buy.
Right behind my green screen, there's a cannabis shop. It's my Richard Travel cannabis shop. Making a killing. It's great. Hey. Channel's not doing so great, Lucas. We got to subsidize the YouTube income with something.
There you go, man. Are you rolling your own? Or?
Oh yeah. Getting pretty good. I got a team of specialists to help me out back there too. Mom's involved. Everyone's involved.
Awesome.
So great. So you think it's coming back then, Lucas? I think we're all excited to see the bounce back of Thailand. It's been too long. My gosh, I can't believe it's going on like 3 years now in February since we've had like an influx of tourists. I am interested with the conversion exchange rates now with the USD, like abnormally high, like gosh, 37. We're going to go through that later in the show, but still staying high. I thought that was going to be just an up and down thing, but it stayed above
higher than the dollar's been higher against the baht than the euro for about the past, I don't know, maybe month. About a month ago, the dollar surged ahead of the euro, where it was always the British pound was high and then the euro and then the dollar. But now the dollar's actually knocking on the door of the British pound and against the baht anyway. So it all has to do with oil and the price of oil and things like that. So we'll see. But here's the thing, make hay while the sun's shining. I've been shipping money over and getting these rates. I watch it every day. The last big transaction I made, I think I got 38.10 baht per $1. Yeah. I hit them hard, Richard. I watch it. It'll usually be down 2 or 3 days, and then it'll zoom up. And I watch it. I refresh it. You can refresh the thing every minute. Yeah. And then I'll get to a point, and I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I haven't even got my money yet. And the next day I look at it, it's way down again already.
Yeah. I've been guilty of I have this fanny pack that's made by PackSafe. It's got like a little lock you put in the front and everything. I carry it in the front. I've been guilty of when it's been a good exchange rate, like taking all my money from the safe and you're like walking down there looking back. I was looking at everyone, like mean mugging everyone. And then I saw another individual from, let's say, another area of the country. He had a backpack full of cash and you could see it was cash. And he was just walking around like no big deal, And I feel like that's probably how I should be walking around, because I think if you're looking around, people are going to say that guy's got something. But I was so concerned. Yeah, in Pattaya. Yeah. Yeah. So, sometimes you get those rich, individuals coming in from,
speaking of that,
Middle East.
A couple people I think have messaged me. I've seen it. They want to know, for big transactions like that, where is an exchange that has an indoor place? The biggest TT currency exchange is right on Second Road, about a block in from Pattaya Thai. It's huge. They got a big lobby. It's inside. So you can be inside behind closed doors doing your transaction, not standing on most of these are just little booths, as you know, and you're stood on the street. And I think people feel more secure if they're inside of a business. So that's the one I always send people to, Second Road, just a block or so from Pattaya Thai.
Now, let me ask you this. So I got a secret spot. I found this out through the bar network, man. Yeah. So I'll describe it. I bet you if I describe it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If Phil's listening from Le Pub Pattaya, he'll know. It's on Second Road and it's right at the Soy Diamond. And it's basically an antique store.
Oh, okay, I know what you mean.
See, he
Oh,
knows like, see, it's one of those. Like you're like, hey, is this a currency exchange or is this like they selling artwork here? No, go inside.
yeah, I think they do currency exchange the other way as well, right?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah,
Great
yeah, yeah.
rates. Great rates.
Yeah, I think I know
and
what you
like
mean.
to your point, indoors. So you go inside. And I got to tell you, when I was going there frequently, they weren't really watching my money so quickly. If it's the blue bills, it's fine. Put it through the blue light machine and you're good. But sometimes when you go to TT, they're looking for rips and tears in the bills. It's no good. Yeah.
Oh man, don't put too much stock in that Mr. Phil character, man. He's got a bar called Milk. I went there last night. I wanted a big tall chocolate milk, and he told me they were closed.
Really? That sounds like him. Kind of a bad seed.
He said, "Come back next week." I said, "All right."
Oh, Phil. He's like another ambassador. Pata. He's got so many stories, Lucas. So
I
many
said,
stories.
finally, a guy that sells milk in a bar. That's brilliant, you know. I asked him, "Are you going to have the Nestle's Quick on the table, you know, so you can stir up your own chocolate milk?" And you know, I like milk, but you feel subconscious asking for a milk in a bar selling beer and whiskeys, you know. But
Yeah.
not Mr. Phil. He's got it right there on tap. So.
Yep. And that's all I'm going to say about that bar name. Okay. Thanks, Lucas. Getting myself in trouble here. No, I think it's awesome. I'm looking forward to talking to Phil next week. Actually, he's going to be great.
Oh, golly.
So
Lucas, is he on next week?
Yeah, he's on next week. I bring him on. So funny, like well timed. Thank you for the segue.
No, I like Crazy Mr. Phil. One of my favorite people in Pattaya.
So I got to ask you one last question I have for you. Like, is the crazy repaving of Walking Street? I'm going to ask Phil about this, but looks beautiful. But do you think this is another example of like it looking good at first, and then once it gets walked on, it's going to be trampled, bricks coming up? What do you think?
You know what was funny? I was in Angeles City when they redid that Walking Street, Fields Avenue. And it was like the first couple of days I was there, they were redoing it. I'm like, wow, it's really nice. It's really going to be nice. By the end of my 2-week holiday, it already looked terrible.
You're kidding. By the end of the 2 weeks?
Yeah. I said, oh, wow, that didn't last long, boy. Now, the Walking Street, I was just down there last night, a rare occasion. I was down there last night filming a segment. And it looks pretty good, and it's just about done. It's just about done. For all intents and purposes, they're doing some paint and making murals and stuff, but it's done. And yeah, that paint will wear off, I guess, and it'll look. But the way they laid all those individual cobblestones, bricks, whatever you call them, I think they did a halfway decent job. I think it'll last for a while. What will destroy it faster than the pedestrian traffic is letting the cars drive on it, which they do all day up until 6 p.m. And then even after that, even last night I was walking, there's still some vehicles. Wow, that was going on 7 o'clock. People coming off the side streets and finding a way on there. The cars will destroy it more than the walkers, of course. So
that's weird. Hey, usually they were pretty good at like wrapping that up at 5 p.m. They would like start closing it up. 6 p.m. no traffic left. I always liked that.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great street when no traffic coming down there. A little dangerous when traffic's allowed during the day. Be a little crazy. All the deliveries.
Yeah, but I think it looks good, Richard. When you come, you'll see it. And last night, what was last night? Friday night. Okay, so it's a Friday night last night. And I got to tell you, man, if I could just miracle you there, snap my fingers, you would say, what pandemic? I mean, it was that crowded with people, everything open, the Turkish ice cream guy out there doing his thing, and all the normal hijinks of Walking Street, like nothing ever happened. So all those that said, well, Walking Street will never recover, it's recovered, I think, faster than a lot of us thought.
I feel like the true test of the recovery for me would be if the Indian suit people are back on the street. Hey, want to get a suit? Want to get a suit?
They're there. They're
yeah.
There.
All right, we're done. We're back. 100% back. Oh my gosh. I always thought that was so weird. Like, do you want to buy a suit? I finally started saying like, no, I'm going to use what I have on. I think it's more comfortable. Because
a lot of people want to take them home. You can get them made here cheaper and take them home, you know.
Yeah.
Do you wear a suit at work?
No, no longer. Yeah. Actually, I got to tell you, with the remote work that we have going on now, it's like all about t-shirts, not even collared shirts anymore. It's so relaxed. Really? It's great. Yeah, really nice.
That's
so
awesome.
Great. Yeah.
Figures after I leave the workforce, it gets awesome.
Yeah. So great. So I can't believe, Lucas, I was counting up all the times you've been on the show. You've been on 4 times before. So I thank you for all of your support. You're one of my first big guests to have on. And I think you got me a bunch of subscribers. So I appreciate all your support. This is your 5th appearance. Number 5. magic one. So I want to thank you for coming on. We're kind of coming to the end of our time, but I do have a favor to ask, Lucas.
What's that?
I was hoping, first of all, just wanted to say thanks for coming on. The favor I've got to ask is, would you be able to send us out with "Until next time, bye for now"?
I guess. Is that what you want, Richard?
I think so. I love that sound clip.
All right.
Such a great voice.
All right.
Get ready,
And until
everyone. Here it
next time.
comes.
And until next time, bye for now.
Thank you, Lucas, for coming back on the show today. It's just so awesome to talk to him. Such a great guest, such great insight with regards to Pattaya's return. And I really appreciated talking to him about that. And let me just go ahead and clear my banner. There we go. Perfect. Great. So I wanted to kind of go through the currency exchange, and then vlogger news is coming up. You guys got to wait for the vlogger news. This is going to be so awesome. I have some new vloggers I'm spotlighting. And guess what? A new intro and outro, courtesy of Gator Jake, coming to us from Jomtien. So I wanted to go through a couple things today with regards to the currency exchange. Slightly lower for the USD and the Australian dollar. The British pound's down 1.5, but still, like we were talking to Lucas, quite high there. So 37.29 for the USD. So still looking really great. I feel like it could probably surge to over 38 coming November, December. And I actually have an individual. I go on his show once a week. I haven't asked if it's okay if I profile his channel, so I won't profile it this week, maybe next week. But he does a great job with graphs and charts around currency exchange and where the trends are headed, and they're headed up. So he's pretty bullish on the currency exchange keeping in our favor. So I'll ask him if I can profile his channel next week, and we'll do that. But guys, the time has come for vlogger news. Let me just go to the chat here, get all the comments here for Lucas. He's saying, excellent. Thank you, Lucas and Richard. Appreciate that. Gator Jake, thank you. Aki living abroad. Nice interview. Great interview from Big Daddy L Rob. I feel like I haven't posted a comment from him yet all show. So it's nice to see him in there. And thanks for keep posting. I think I saw yours earlier and didn't spotlight him. And Robert Mack in Asia says, great voice for radio. That's awesome. Robert Mack in Asia. Or Max Smith is saying, giving us some smiley faces there. Freelance Kate laughing at that. And Everyday Part of Life was asking if Lucas misses the quiet streets at times. I think probably he does. I think you would if you've lived there, but then you also like a little bit of the hustle and bustle to come back. So, yeah. And just Alex Endro is saying Richard Strawberry Quick was so good. That's great. Appreciate it. Do you remember Strawberry Quick is asking Richard Greenberg. So that was actually a response back to Richard's comment. Appreciate that. So I'm so excited to kind of go through vlogger news this week. We have a lot of great vloggers to spotlight and a new intro. So like I said, I'm trying to standardize things, but just when I try to standardize things for something to use show after show after show, Gator Jake sends me in a winner of a video. So let's cue the new revised intro and let's get to the vlogger news.
I'm Gator Jake here at the YouTube content creator and subscriber meetup here at the Wombat and Kiwi Bar in beautiful Jomtien, Thailand, and this is Vlogger News.
Thank you, Gator Jake, for that video submission that woke me up at 3:30 in the morning, but was well worth putting together. Appreciate that. Gator Jake's a big supporter of the channel, is doing a lot of great stuff out there in Jomtien now. So I appreciate that. And let's see, Greeny Travels saying Gator. And thank you, Max Smith. Appreciate that. Killing it. Appreciate that, man. Tommy J, great job, Gator. Just Alexandro saying that was a good one. Yeah, everything sounds good with music, right? But he did a great job. I really appreciate that. It was a great surprise. Excuse me. So appreciated that. let's go through some great vloggers, starting with Le Pub Pattaya. So Phil is actually coming on the live show next week. We're going to be talking about him going from homeless to successful business owner in Thailand. He had a great video that Lucas and I were kind of talking about around the walking street update. So Phil takes us around the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I feel like I don't want to steal the thunder on that video, but please check it out because it's a great video that kind of gives you a sense for what Thailand, specifically Pattaya, is looking like now. And it's looking pretty good. So they're finishing up the road work on Walking Street. I think things are looking a lot cleaner, actually, in my eyes. And they have some additional equipment out there as well that he kind of takes you through. But great video. And I feel like Phil's channel, why I love Phil's channel so much is he has a great mix of great edited content, but he's also doing a lot of live stream and live shows from his businesses that he owns. So Lucas had mentioned Milk. He also has Le Pub Pattaya as well that he does live streams from. He does one called Thai Girls Play Pool. Funny show where you can watch the Thai girls play pool, of course, and then also send in super chats and this kind of stuff, buy the girls a drink, that kind of thing, all through the live stream. So really fun. And I feel like Phil has so much great information around the history of Pattaya. Some of those videos you can watch 2 or 3 times. So check that one out. That's a great one. And then a new channel for me. I just found this a couple weeks ago. Sky Samuel's doing some great videos out of Malaysia. This video is titled 10 Reasons Why Foreigners Love Malaysia. So Sky's actually coming on the show in a couple weeks. So excited to have her on. She's coming up in 2 weeks. She'll be on the show. Great channel. I think she has about 14,000 subscribers now, and it's growing like crazy. Every week, it's like another 1,000 subscribers. So great content. She's visited Thailand as well. So has a lot of great videos from all over the world. We're going to be talking to her about that in a couple weeks. But this one I thought was great because it really profiles some great areas where you might not have considered in Malaysia. Some great reasons to maybe consider retiring there. So really like that channel and like those videos. And let's see, Gator Jake was saying that storytelling is a talent from Phil. And I believe that. So he does a great job of kind of laying out the facts while still making it very interesting and sometimes funny. So I appreciate that. And Jay East was saying some great shows lined up. We got a great list of characters, starting with Phil from Le Pub Pattaya, and then Sky Samuel's coming on in 2 weeks. And then the exciting one for me this week is I wanted to do a new vlogger spotlight. New vlogger for me, Eat Out Pattaya. So they're doing some great videos. And the reason I love this channel so much is, first of all, great videos, well edited, great pace, great music, great narrations. And they're keeping it to under 4 minutes. So you don't have to sit through a 15, 20-minute video to find out a review of a great food spot. They do a great job of just kind of netting it out for you. This is their latest video that just came out. Eat Out Pattaya, Cajun food in Thailand, Cajun life, Pattaya Soi 5, Pradamak Hill, or Pradamak Pattaya. So I would say check that out. That's a great video. I believe it's Tom and Ryan that are doing the videos there on that channel. And like I said earlier, my mom was actually the 10th subscriber. So they're just starting out, but I tell you, the future is bright. And I think you should always be looking for YouTube channels that are high quality and are just starting out, because it's always nice to say later on in life that you're the 10th subscriber and now they have 100,000 subscribers. So they're really doing a great channel at a great time right now as the high season is kicking off. A lot of individuals like myself would like to see all the different food places in Pattaya spotlighted. And it's great to have a channel that's just doing that. So what they're doing in this video is really kind of visiting the local eateries around Pattaya. And this one was great. I love Ryan because he's got that kind of Southern twang going on. So really nice video. They do a great job with editing the video and narrating it with the music. It's all packed into a sub 4-minute video. So I feel like that's a great channel. Check it out. Hopefully everyone's subscribing and there'll be over 100 subscribers by the end of the show. That would be super helpful. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. So yeah, feel free. Check that channel out. I love it. Great videos. Greeny Travels did a great video recently. So he's actually touring Singapore out of Thailand for a little while. And this video was called "We Got Scammed Minutes After Entering This Country." So kind of speaking about Malaysia. I won't steal the thunder of the video because Greeny would kill me. He wants people to watch that video. So I won't tell you what the scam was, but it's very interesting. I think he does a great job with Phi kind of outlining what happened to them and why you should watch out if you're doing the same thing as him. So great video, great channel by Greeny Travels. He came on when he was just kind of starting out. I think he came to us first on this show when he was in quarantine, first coming out to Thailand to retire. So I had to go through a couple week quarantine. He came to us on the show during that quarantine. It was great fun. And it's nice to see that channel taking off since that interview. So this one specifically talks about them taking a cruise to Malaysia, and you'll have to watch the video to educate yourself on the scam. So always travel safe, but check that video out because I feel like it's always nice to know about kind of what scams to be looking out for in either Thailand or in Malaysia, that kind of stuff. Greeny's saying it's fine. Reveal the scam. That's okay, man. You did a better job outlining it on your video. So I won't do that. Idao Pataya is saying, thanks for the spotlight, Richard. Much appreciated. I stand by that. Great channel. They have the branding spot on now with their logo. So Tom and Ryan doing a great job there. And I just like the videos, man. I feel like we need more videos like that are straight to the point, no nonsense review. And it's just nice to hear, great reviews like that. So hoping that they maybe hit up a couple of my favorite spots in the future. And then Gator Jake is saying, Ryan and Tom, great content with some of the new local eateries and some established ones as well. Yeah, that's great. And let's see, just Alexandro is saying, just became sub number 13 on Idao Pataya. So you will all have that to sort of say later on in life when they get to be over 100,000 subscribers. It's always nice to be one of the first subscribers to a new channel that's going places. And I believe that one is. It's great. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I knew something like that was coming from those two, but they wanted to kind of keep it a secret. So I didn't know exactly what it was, but we're going to try to have them on the show. I'd love to have them on the show and talk about their channel and some great eateries that they visited where they would recommend this kind of thing. And Greeny Travels says he was number 4 sub to Idao Pataya. So Cafe Pascal is next, they say. So that's great. We'll be looking out for that one dropping soon. I think that one that they did was just a couple of days ago, the one that I spotlighted. So that'll be nice to see that one coming out soon. And let's get back to this. So 20 seconds in Thailand. Thailand Rob did a great video I love that says, it's titled, I Left Thailand in Style. And like this one, because it's, a lot of his are walk and talk videos, but this is a great edited video he did with music and some narrations about his return to the US. So not clickbait. He actually did leave Thailand and has been in the US for a couple weeks, and we're going to have him back on the show once he returns to Thailand. So he's coming on the show in a couple weeks. We're going to talk to him from Thailand and talk to him about his trip to the US, how that was, and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to have Rob back on the show as well. But this is a great video to watch. I actually had to message Rob and say, I really enjoyed your editing of this video. Did a great job with the music and the narrations, and the editing was just top notch. So, I've been a subscriber of Rob's for many years, but this video definitely got put in my top 5 list. So if you haven't checked it out, I'd say go check it out. It's something different, and I think you'll really like it. And it's interesting, one of the channels that Rob spotlighted on that video, he actually ran into somebody on the plane back to the US, and that person's name was Miles Miser. So Miles was on the flight back to the US with Rob, and it's a great channel. I actually went there and checked it out. It has about 1,500 subscribers, and his channel is really about helping you maximize your points and miles as you travel the world. So really some great tips and tricks around getting the most out of your money and your miles when it comes to flying. So a lot of his videos are geared around, hey, listen, I flew first class with just my miles, didn't cost me anything extra. And I feel like we could all use tips and tricks like that because, boy, if they have 90-minute lines in Thailand, it'd be nice if you flew business class, maybe into Thailand and got that, expedited immigration pass that you get when you fly business. That would always be nice. And let's see, did I miss a comment here? And let's see, Freelance Kate is asking, have you done a video with Patty Doyle? I have not. He's actually on my list of vloggers to outreach to see if he'd like to come on the show. Would be great to have Patty on the show. And let's see, Toby Price says he was like a duck out of water when he went back to Scotland for 10 days, changed so much in 14 years. I can imagine. I think one of the things that Rob kind of spotlighted on his video back to the US is he had a beer and he was able to twist off the top. And he said he hadn't twisted off a top like that in 3-4 years. So it's kind of little things like that kind of make you laugh and chuckle to yourself. Like, wow, I haven't seen that before. And then Mark Smith is saying Billy Blue would be a great guest, also known AKA Cheap Charlie. So yeah, definitely Cheap Charlie and I talk all the time. And we've had that conversation around that. why it would be a good thing, why it would be a bad thing. So he's very secretive himself, and I've got to respect his privacy. But yeah, we have been in conversation about that. And then Freelance Kate's asking about Tyrish Times. So I haven't done a video with Tyrish Times either. Big fan of that channel as well. And maybe reach out to that individual at some point as well. And your Mojo was saying he was sub number 2 to eat out Pattaya. That's so great. So keep in mind, if you sub to that channel, you get to see Cafe Pascal. That's next coming up. So I think that'll be great. And Mr. Mitch is putting a link there for the 20 seconds in Thailand video. Appreciate that. That's great. So I would say check out the Miles Miser if you want to kind of get some tips and tricks around how to travel smartly using your flights, using your miles and points to upgrade. I think he did a great job in all of his videos, and he has videos all around the world talking about, I got here, flew business class, and this is how I did it. I got an upgrade there. You know, a lot of the tricks kind of stem around either using your miles on the airline or securing a credit card that will get you points that you can then use to upgrade to business. And I'll tell you, a lot of times when I was flying back to Thailand pretty frequently, that's what I would do, is I would book premium economy flight, and then I would upgrade to business. The long legs, like the leg from San Francisco to Taipei, I would upgrade that to business. And just that long leg, like the 13-hour flight, usually, like, I got used to the longer duration flights coming back. So the flight coming back from Thailand to San Francisco is only about 10 hours, sometimes 9.5 hours. So I feel like that's not such a long flight. You can do that sitting in a comfortable seat. It's once you get over like 13 hours that I feel like, for me, it's comfortable to have something you can like lay flat in. I think Rob, in his latest video where he did that, I Left Thailand in Style, talks about him flying back in business class and having access to all the lounges. So it was kind of fun to see that. So it was a nice video from him. So check out Miles Miser. If you want to be featured on the show, simply just drop me an email, richardtravel@gmail.com. I'm always looking for interesting vloggers to spotlight. You know, the subscriber count doesn't make a difference to me. If you're making great content, interesting videos, I'd love to spotlight you here, because this channel is all about promoting YouTube creators and getting their channel either over 1,000 subscribers or letting you know about great YouTube channels that you could subscribe to that are already well established. You know, Chev and Dev being one that we spotlighted on the Vlogger News way back when they had a couple hundred subscribers. We got them over the 1,000 quickly after that show, and they're now sitting, I think, at 117,000 subscribers. So we love to do that. We love to spotlight vloggers that will get there. And with that, that's the end of the Vlogger News. We're going to kick off the new outro to the Vlogger News. We'll come back. We'll talk about a couple of topics, a couple of comments that I've heard on comments from my videos. We're going to answer some questions. Be right back. I was just thinking, if you wanted to be creative, if you're a YouTube creator out there and you want to be creative and record a video of yours saying, you know, and that was Vlogger News, or this is Vlogger News, happy to kind of pack that into either the intro or the outro of the Vlogger News segment and then spotlight your channel. So don't be shy. We love to spotlight new channels. So please, you know, leverage that email, richardtravel@gmail.com. Send me an email. Happy to respond back and promote your channel. So getting to some things that we wanted to talk about, we haven't talked about yet. Fa 1985, great channel. She was on our show with James Chocolate Man in Thailand a couple weeks ago, and she was streaming live from the Wombat Bar in Jomtien, Thailand earlier. So make sure to subscribe to her channel, because she gives you a lot of behind the scenes videos on the other YouTube creators in Thailand. So it's always nice to see that. So I'd say check that out, because she usually streams right before this show. I was actually on there a little earlier, just kind of chatting with everyone. It was really nice. And one of the questions I get a lot from people is, Richard, why not 1080p? So for those that aren't too technical, 1080p is just a term that, you know, higher definition. So this show is actually broadcast in 720p. I'm happy to always do the upgrade. It's in StreamYard to 1080p, but I have a couple of reasons why I wouldn't do that. And it's mainly around the guests that I have on the show. So for myself, I have a very fast internet speed. 1080p would not be an issue for me, but a lot of times the guests are coming to my show from a hotel room where the internet's spotty. They're not able to hardwire into the router, so utilizing Wi-Fi. 1080p would make it more problematic for them to come on the show. And we're always trying to make it as easy as possible to have new guests on. So for me, 720p is great for other guests to come on. They don't need that real fast internet speed. It really opens up the panel to where I can actually have guests from a hotel room, like Lucas is coming to us from a resort. So if 1080p was engaged, maybe he'd have a little bit of trouble. Maybe there'd be some hiccups or pixelation. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason too is the StreamYard app that I use, which is great, by the way. They've given me great support, great one-on-one support from Gage and Melanie there at StreamYard to get my moving background going, which is a GIF. I had to use like 5 different programs to get this shrunk down to the right file size to use. But my videos are capped at 200 meg. And what that means is the higher definition the video, if it's 720p or 1080p, it's going to require a larger file size. So 1080p would basically only allow me to do a 20-second video. And some of these intros and outros are upwards of like a minute and a half, 90 seconds. So 720p allows me to still keep it crisp. You know, we're not talking like it's 240 or 480. 720p is still, you know, pretty good quality, but still allows me to kind of stay under the 200 meg limit. So I can be creative with all these videos and stuff that I do. So that's kind of an answer to that question, because it comes up a lot. Like, hey, you know, it's kind of like a buzzword, 1080p. Are you doing your streaming in 1080p? And I'd love to, but it would just be very problematic for the guests. So, and then I wouldn't be able to use as many videos, because I'll tell you that file size gets big very quickly. And let's see. We got a couple of comments. Let me find one that I can actually post. Gator Jake says, my flight is about 26 hours one way. I have a 20-hour butt. So, and that speaks to like, so if you're flying premium economy on those long haul flights, you got to get like a butt pad, something like that. I have one that actually collapses up and put in the backpack and you can use. Little extra padding goes a long way when you're getting near hour 10 of your flight. And Go More Hike is saying he flies in sardine class. So that's great, man. Hey, a lot of us do, aka third class. So back of the plane. So yeah, that happens. And Max Smith was saying Billy Blue would be a good guest, aka Cheap Charlie. So I think Charlie's back in Thailand. Last time I saw, I think he was vlogging from Malaysia when I last saw his live stream. So it'd be nice. Capio in the house saying big up, appreciate it. Mitch, we'll watch it back. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that, Capio. Thanks for making time. And I will tell you, so something Capio sometimes misses it, because I think we're coming to him at 4 p.m. his local time in the UK. I will tell you one thing that's changing now for me starting tomorrow is daylight saving time. That happens in America, and it's something crazy where we move the clocks back, moving forward. I don't know which way we're going. I think we're fall back is what they call it. So we're moving the clocks back an hour. I think that's going to mean that the show is going to be an hour later for everyone else that's not in America. So I think that means that in the UK, the show will be taking place at 5 p.m. In Thailand, it means the show moves to 11 p.m. So it's going to be more difficult for me to get guests. I always go through this every year. About November, it becomes very difficult to get guests on the show, because when they hear what time it is, like 11 o'clock, you got to be kidding me. So it gets more difficult to have guests on. So please, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, please email me. And if you like staying up late, that's even better. Or maybe if you're in America or the UK would be great. You can come to us from the UK. But the time is changing. So just be forewarned. It'll be the same time here in America, but the conversion will be a little different. So, and Gator Jake saying, hey, Capio, nice to see you there. Carlos Thailand saying hello to Capio. And Capio saying hello to Mitch, Tommy Jake, Carl. Appreciate that. And Go More Hike says he's ready for another icy interview. Maybe we'll have her back on the show. She's actually spotlighted in my outro coming up in a couple minutes. So I appreciate that. So hopefully you guys liked the interview with Lucas. If you didn't get a chance to watch it all, you can rewind it back. It's available on the replay, just as good as watching it live sometimes is what I hear. So yeah, and next week we have, let me just get the guest here. Next week we have Lipub Pattaya coming to us from Pattaya, Thailand. We're going to be talking about him going from homeless to successful businessman in Thailand. Phil's been on the show twice before. So excited to have him back. He has some great stories. So you got to tune in for that one, because it's just a great story from Phil. Great stories from Phil on Pattaya's history, this kind of thing. So really excited to have him back on the show. So I will tell you, thanks for everyone that tuned in today. Thank you for all those YouTube creators that are creating great content out there. We appreciate every video. And I'll see you next week. And as Lucas would say, till next time, bye for now. See you next week on the Saturday Live Show.
I will get my drink on tonight. I'ma get loose, get wild. If you're not in the mood right now, honey, don't kill my vibe. I will get my drink on tonight. I'ma get loose, get wild. If you're not in the mood right now, honey, don't kill my vibe. I will get my drink on tonight. I'ma get loose, get wild. If you're not in the mood right now, honey, don't kill my vibe. I will get my drink on tonight. I'ma get loose, get wild. If you're not in the mood.
สวัสดีค่ะคุณริชาร์ด
I'll get my drink on tonight. I'ma get loose, get wild. If you're not in the mood right now, honey, don't kill my vibe. I will get my drink on tonight. I'ma get loose, get wild. If you're not in the mood right now, honey, don't kill my vibe. I will get my drink on tonight. I'ma get loose, get wild. If you're not in the mood right now, honey, don't kill my
Busted.
I thought that video was lost forever.
Oh, I keep them all.
Wow, the Richard Travel Show, finally. This is, you're like my Oprah.
my vibe.